players, we begin round one.
Best of luck.
So, in today's video, as you can tell by the title probably, this is a duel against Phantom Knights. I wanted to showcase this duel just because it had some really great back and forth, and it does showcase how powerful Unchained is, as well as the hand traps that I do play, even though I do lose. But still a really enjoyable match, so I'm just going to add some commentary in certain parts and review what I could have done better, as well showcase how good this Phantom Knight deck is without Tour Guide. So in this part I forget how Burning Abyss works, and you can special summon them without having any spell and trap cards in your zones, so that's quite a nice effect. So my opponent will send something off with Bardiche, and you'll see the first hand trap that I do use, really strong dimensional or dimension shifter. So whatever he's going to send to the graveyard will now get banished, meaning he's going to have a lot less resources in his graveyard, those resources being Phantom Knights, and they tend to like being in the graveyard and not being banished. However, my opponent still can play through this by banishing, I believe this was Ancient Cloaks. I'm really sorry about the camera angle again. It is hard to judge the distance, but yeah, he does banish to add, I believe, and then he'll special summon the Torn Graves from the graveyard because that Phantom Knights was banished. I think it was Silent Boots that he added to his hand off the Ancient Cloak. Yeah, it's quite awkward because of D-Shifter. Any materials under an Xyz monsters like Levianeer that my opponent will go into, they will also get banished, so the Torn Scale and Boots are guaranteed to be banished. But before he does do the Levianeer effect, I would chain to the summon Nibiru, banishing all of his board. Some really strong hand traps for Unchained when blinding second. D-Shifter does really hurt the Unchained deck a little bit because of Sarama. Sarama likes to bring stuff back from the graveyard, and if it if stuff gets banished from the, you can't really use Sarama's effects, so that is one downside to playing D-Shifter, but if I'm able just to stop my opponent's plays and really hurt them, I don't mind. So I do also banish the Fog Blade, as you see, with the Cosmic Cyclone. I kind of make a strange play here, to be honest. The token has 1600 defense, as that's what the defense of Levianeer is. And I do have a Rukea in hand, but I kind of want to pop that. So what I end up doing is tributing the token with a Kaiju, of all things, and running my Rukea into the Kaiju. As I said, got a main deck Kaijus because of Dragoon and other problematic cards like Borrowload Savage Dragon with the Buster Whelp equipped, and the, I suppose, Virtual World with Calamities. You could just tribute over the Calamities, even though it's not really a problem. So yeah, he does Ash the Rukea effect when it's destroyed by battle, but I do also have the Abominable Unchained Soul, which I'll just summon from my hand, killing my own Kaiju, and then attacking him directly for 3000 with a Nibiru. Being the American sniper we are, we hit out the Tsuchinoko out of my opponent's hand, and he doesn't have anything in the graveyard to use with the Fog Blade, unfortunately for him. So he just ends on a Tsuchinoko. I don't know why I'm calculating damage so much. I just summon Sarama, Battle Phase, attack over, and then go for 6k directly with the Nibiru and Abominable Unchained Soul, meaning I do win game 1. And as my opponent does says, D-Shifter is a very good card. That's what I like to think he said anyway. So we have finished siding here, and my opponent does elect to go first. I kind of expected my opponent to make me go first, because Unchained do struggle going first. So I did put in, I believe, the Artifact Scythe and the Sanctums. as well as a trap trick, and I think I might have just put in like a Harpy's Feather Duster just in case. Yeah, it was kind of awkward to decide because I wasn't too sure what my opponent would have done. So as I said, my opponent's not playing Tour Guide in his build, and he just has a bunch of extenders, which I think is probably the right way to play this deck, because if your Tour Guide does get Ash and you have no further extenders in your hand, you're pretty much screwed. So he has a really good build, and if you are interested in seeing his build, leave a comment in the description. Perhaps I'll get him on in a video to talk about his build and any changes he would have made, even though I think he has made some changes. But he does play some really expensive cards like the Forbidden Droplets and Triple Tactics Talent. I plan to also release my own Phantom Knights build, which is a bit more budget friendly, I suppose. So if you're interested in seeing that, also drop another comment on this video with your interest. With that in mind, I will just ask you to please remember to like the video if you enjoyed this live duel with a bit of commentary. It's something you want to try on my channel. I did record the other duels that were had on the day, but I didn't think that they were very exciting. I think round 2 was against Melfi, which is horrible because they have just as good as a grind game as Unchained, and is really close game, but I did manage to win that one. And the last round was against Dragon Link, and yeah, we just destroyed Dragon Link. We pretty much destroyed most decks, but unfortunately we did lose, but I did finish the day 2-0, and the Phantom Knights player that I'm playing against right now, he managed to top the event, so well done to him. He's a really good player as well. As you can probably tell by his mat as well, he used to play a lot of Orcust. Yeah, that's a great rule now. I kind of want to just build pendulums just because of that new rule. If you're not aware, there's a new rule where you can't use the sided of dice to say how many counters. You've got to put individual dice on top of cards now. So some pendulum cards can have an absurd amount of counters on there. So it means you've got to stack some dice on there. Some really funny memes going around with that. I think I do make a bit of an oopsie of a play here, unfortunately. I think I did have a impermanence in my hand, which you will soon use on my opponent's turn to stop him getting a Dragoon, which is a good thing, but it's kind of bad as well. I would have liked to negate the Appaloosa. So yeah, my opponent does use the Gloves effect to send the Fogblade, and then using a Fogblade to summon another Phantom Knights monster, giving him enough material for the Verte Anaconda. So he is paying cost right now, which is 2,000 life points, and sending everything to the graveyard, to which I do chain Imperm, which is, you know, decent enough because I stop him getting Dragoon, and Dragoon is quite a horrible card. But he still does have a free material Appaloosa, so he's got 3 monster negates against me. And yeah, he's able just to set another Fogblade anyway, so I think he's got 2 Fogblades set and 3 monster negates on the Appaloosa anyway. So this is quite hard. I think what I could have done is normal summoned a Rakea that I do have in my hand first of all, and then use a Cosmic Cyclone to destroy a Fogblade, to which I could have also chained the other Cosmic Cyclone that I do have in my hand. I was hoping to also take or make my opponent negate the Recare effect with Appaloosa. I don't know why, he probably would have done that anyway, but it would have been an interesting bait, especially if he fell for it. But yeah, as you see, I do start off my turn with the Abomination's Prison, adding Aruha to my hand. And I'm thinking a lot, and yeah, heavy petting of the mat indeed. So yeah, as I said, I use both the Cosmic Cyclones in my hand to get rid of the Fog Blades. So he only has 5 monster negates now, rather than 3 monster negates rather than 5. So yeah, and there's a Rakea, and I try to blow up the Rakea, which I sent to the graveyard after he uses Appaloosa negate. This was a misplay. Aruha doesn't get destroyed by Appaloosa, as it doesn't destroy, it just negates effects. So now was my own misplace, and it was accepted game state, so we just continued as was. I do attack over the Verte, not that it really matters, I don't think. I probably would have been better off crashing into the Appaloosa to get another negate off the Appaloosa.
Banish to add.
Yep.
Hundreds.
Yep.
Effect engraved, bring it back.
Yep.
Cards on field.
Oh, just the one in hand.
Special. Lovely. Brick sword.
Yep.
Brick sword's effect, detach, pop pop.
Yep. Effect repair.
Neg.
Chain.
Abominable's fine, yeah, cool. So that's,
Free check. Someone.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
So effect of this,
Yep.
bring back this and this.
Yep.
Effect of brick sword.
Yep.
Oh no, no targeting, not good.
Check the grip.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
All of them are banished anyway.
Oh yeah. And you've already used the other card, yeah.
Does that?
Floats, no.
That doesn't float.
No.
Cards in hand?
Nothing. I misplayed.
Overlay.
Yep.
Evil Swarm Nightmare effect to pop.
Yep.
In battle phase 21
Yep.
and 800.
Yep.
And I top deck the Aruha, which is able to destroy the Appaloosa, but it's still not really enough to win me the game. He's got quite the established board already. Normal summon the Ash Blossom, this man has no respect. So yeah, he does use the Bardiche to pop his own Breaksword, and he then uses that Breaksword special 2 back from the graveyard. This will give him 2 level 4 Phantom Knights monsters to go into a Raiders Knight, I believe it's called, which he does use the effects to link up into Arc Rebellion, which is just a crazy card to OTK with, and you do see me scoop game 2 here.
I was going to bring back another one, then detach.
Okay, so game 3 here we're on, and I do make my opponent go first again. I suppose I could have gone first myself and sided heavy for going first, adding more of the artifacts engine. I think in this game I put in 3 Lanciers. Lanciers really good against Phantom Knights because it stops them from vanishing. So I may even decide to main Lanciers going forward, because another deck like Dragon Link and Virtual World like to banish this stuff, and Lancier prevents them from banishing. And yeah, my opponent does open Torn Scales for the normal summon 3 games in a row. Must be nice. So yeah, he does special summon the Seer to the Cherubini zone. Usually want to bring back Cherubini with this Seer, so it's kind of telegraphing a poor hand from my opponent. But these are enough materials to go into Bardiche, as you will see. So yeah, I'm just asking my opponent to find out their graveyard. He's pretty much got a stacked graveyard. He's got a gloves, an ancient cloak, a boots, and the torn scales in the graveyard already. And he's using the Bardiche effect to send something else. I don't know why I just used Ash Blossom here. I think it was kind of a misplay by me. Yeah, because my opponent's graveyard is already stacked, he doesn't mind the Ash Blossom. And here my opponent is using the Ancient Cloak effects, banishing it from the graveyard to add, I believe, Stain Grease. I think Ash here would have been much better, just because he wouldn't add the Stain Grease to hand, but he still would have got a special summon of the Torn Scales from the graveyard. And then he does special summon that Stain Grease. So I do have Rocky Boy. Rock is pretty good, but as you'll see, my opponent is still able to make some really good plays after this, so hats off to him. He's making me play Link Spider in my own deck. It's a really good card, fair play to him. I think what would have been better if I held off with the Nibiru and waited for him to get Verte out onto the field at least, because I don't think he makes Apollousa this turn. So if I waited for the Verte, I could have just destroyed his board again with the Nibiru, and that would have been much better. As you see, he's got enough material to make a Verte, and with Verte comes down the Dragoon, which Unchained just really struggle to out. I do actually have an Impermanence in my hand as well, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I think waiting on that Nibiru would have been much better play. I have a problem of shotgunning my hand traps, so please learn from my mistakes so you don't recreate them. Yeah, and as you see, he adds the Fog Blade from the Sun and Boots effect, so he's got another negate, monster negate effectively, and he does pop my Nibiru with a Dragoon, burning me for 3k, meaning I'm only on 5,000 life points while my opponent is on 6. I do still try to play through this a little bit. I was really hoping for a Kaiju. I do Cosmic Cyclone the Fog Blade, hoping to bait out, but he has his own Cosmic. So he's actually kept the Fog Blade in hand. Very smart. So I go for the Extravagance, but that will get banished. I kind of needed this draw from the Extravagance as well, so this is quite unfortunate. So I only have 2 cards left in my hand at the moment, which is quite unfortunate. But there is a negate already taken from the Dragoon, and there's no real other interaction from my opponent now. But his graveyard is again stacked with all the Phantom Knights monsters, so even if I was able to out the Dragoon, he still has abundance of plays for his next turn. So this is quite a funny play. I normal summon the Sarama and Kamikaze into the Dragoon, meaning I can special summon from the deck, but I'm now really low on life points. I think I'm on 1500. So I use the Sarama to special summon from the deck. I believe it is the Unchained Soul of Disaster. Yep, because Abominable isn't strong enough to crash over the Dragoon, but I'm able to link off something with the Verte, but I kind of saw that I couldn't win this game, and I do actually scoop. So, yeah, Dragoon is horrible. I can't wait for this card to get banned. I really hope it does get banned in a way, but anyway, that was my duel against Phantom Knights. If you're interested in seeing the Unchained build, I'll leave a link in the description. But if you want to see my opponent's Phantom Knight build without Tour Guide, leave a comment and I may get him to record a video with me going over his deck profile. But yeah, that was a very good match, very good games, really enjoyable. I'm going to be picking up, well, I do have most of the Phantom Knight stuff myself, so I will be showing a more budget-friendly build of that. But yeah, please remember to leave this video a like, as it does help my channel, and also consider subscribing to see more of these live duels, as well as the great deck profiles I do put on my channel, and some other videos I do have planned for the future, including the lore video for the Unchained, which I do have a really cool theory as to the origins of the Abominable Unchained Soul. So if you want to check that out, make sure you're subscribed. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.